Dothan City Hall is mum after suffering a setback in its legal feud with a former employee. A court ruled that the city of Dothan wrongfully terminated that woman during an embarrassing scandal. News 4's Ken Curtis tells us what the ruling means and what comes next.
To understand what's going on now, one must understand what went on then. Summer 2022, Dothan Recreation Director Allison Hull fires Stephanie Wingfield, who supervised the city's child nutrition program. The city claims Wingfield lied on paperwork related to a federally funded program that fed children from low-income families. And there were also claims Wingfield rigged bids to favor a friend who owns a restaurant that provided those meals. The city's personnel board upheld Wingfield's dismissal, and so did a Houston County judge. But Wingfield, a 23-year city employee, wouldn't go away. And last Friday, her persistence paid off. The Alabama Court of Civil Appeals ruled the city was wrong to fire Wingfield. They claimed her termination was based solely on hearsay. And the city is pretty much convicted Stephanie Wingfield.
It's very damaging to the city to know that we've had an employee do something like this.
The city has not said where it goes from here, but insiders tell me it's almost certain that the city will appeal the decision favoring Stephanie Wingfield. There's another legal battle raging. Larry Patrick once managed the feeding program. He retired after 34 years. However, for 8 years after he retired, the city forged Larry Patrick's name on official documents. And like Stephanie Wingfield, he sued. In Dothan, Ken Curtis, your hometown news leader.
The city said an outdated computer login is to blame for the electronic forgery of Patrick's name. A Houston County judge last month refused to dismiss his lawsuit against the city.